And we get to revisit a story we shared with you here on Good Things, I think about a year ago. You might remember meeting Miss Debbie Pearson. She lost her son, Dylan Pickle. He was a Monroe County Sheriff's deputy, and he lost his life on an on-duty accident in 2020. Now, after his passing, Debbie started a memorial scholarship to send other law enforcement officers to the academy to keep his memory alive. And she does this through the funds she generates through the Miss M17 pageant. And today on Good Things, we get to meet the first graduate of that scholarship, Miss Casey Gwin. Hey, Casey.
Hey.
I know you got up early for you because you're on night shift now just to join us here on Good Things. So I appreciate that. And congratulations on graduating from the academy. So you are the first recipient of the Dylan Pickle Memorial Scholarship. How did you get connected with that opportunity to begin with?
So I had heard about it. I had read the posts and things that Miss Debbie had posted about it, about raising money and different things like that. But I never dreamed that I would be the one that received it. Miss Debbie got with my sheriff and some other local deputies, and they kind of got with me and was like, "Hey, would you be interested in this?" I said, "Sure." And so I wrote a paper, Miss Debbie, explaining why I wanted to be in law enforcement. And next thing I knew, I met with Miss Debbie, and she said, "Hey, you're the one I'm going to pick." And she didn't know me from Adam, so she just took her chances on me, and I greatly appreciate it.
So give us a little background, Casey. I mean, why did law enforcement sort of, inspire you as a career?
So my dad was in law enforcement for many years. He played many roles. He was chief of police. He retired as a sheriff's deputy for Lee County. And now he currently works for the drug court. So it's kind of just always been in my blood. It's something before I was ever even thought about, my dad was in law enforcement. So I've always been around it. I grew up around it. It's just something I've always wanted to do.
I know Miss Debbie said that Dylan was basically called into service in form of military service and then into law enforcement, that even if, he would have known the writing on the wall, it would have still been the profession that he felt like was, his from the get-go. Do you kind of feel that way, knowing that, going into a profession that has risk?
Oh, no doubt. Law enforcement and things in that line of work is not something you just wake up one day and decide, "Hey, I think I'll go put a badge on." In order to do it, you have to love it. It's got to be something that you have a call for, a drive, and a passion for. You'll never make it in this career.
We hear about, shortage of law enforcement, or those looking for cities across, Mississippi looking for more to sort of join the force. But we don't often hear about maybe the sacrifices or the funds that it takes to go through the different academies. So when you received the Dylan Pickle Memorial Scholarship, what did that help you with in terms of financially?
That not only did it pay for my academy, which kept myself or my department from having to put the funds up. It put all my gear. You have a gear list that you have to get: clothes, boots, gear. I said gear twice, but as far as gear, what I mean is like your duty gear, your handcuffs. You wear full gear there. You wear duty belt, handcuffs, holsters, bulletproof vest, everything the whole time that you're there. So you have to have all that. None of that is provided for you. So it helped with that as well.
I love this, that the Miss M17 pageant, you have beauty queens that are helping fund the way for our law enforcement. And I love that the first recipient is a female. Did you ever, feel any pushback for being a lady going into law enforcement? Or was it always just, if you can do the work, show up and do it?
Well, as far as it's a man's world, so you're kind of in a disadvantage when you first start. But females no different than a male there. We train like them. We dress like them. We do everything they do. We earn our spot just as much as they do. So,
what would you say to the young ladies maybe listening that think of law enforcement, or to the parents who maybe have a young girl in their families who have thought about law enforcement, but they're like, ooh,
I will say, when I first came to my dad and was like, "Hey, I think I want to follow in your footsteps," he looked at me like, "Are you sure?" I don't know. I'm not sure about this, but now, he couldn't be more proud and happier for what I've chose to do. For the ladies that want to do it, or the families that have somebody that want to do it, if that's what they love and that is their true passion, then do it. Do not hold back, especially just because you're a female. We're just as capable as anybody else.
I heard that. Now, how long is the academy? Because sometimes you hear horror stories about, it's kind of like a boot camp or military style or whatever it may be, and that's for good, for good reason. I'm sure they're throwing you out to the wolves, or at least that's what it looks like from my perspective.
Right.
So, what's the academy like?
It is 11 weeks long. I started on January the 9th and graduated on March the 24th. It is military-based. When you get there, you are completely stripped from everything. Like somebody asked me what the worst part was. The worst part is just being there. I have 2 kids, so you're completely cut off from the outside world. You don't even know what time it is whenever you first get there. You think about, you get up in the mornings and get to check the weather. You can't do that there. Very physical, but the worst part of it is mental, just being there, because they strip you down completely, mentally and physically, and then build you back to be what you need to be able to do this job.
And then after 11 weeks, you get to walk across the stage in terms of graduation. Who all was there to support you for your graduation?
There were several people from my department. We had a couple of deputies, my major, my captain, my former lieutenant, my current lieutenant, my sheriff. We had the whole gang there. Miss Debbie came, and, of course, my family was there.
Well, congratulations. I know you're fresh off the graduation, I guess, ceremony and jump right into your first, job or on duty. So we appreciate, again, you waking up early to be with us here on Good Things. I know she's got another pageant coming up. So what would be your push for people to support the Miss M17 pageant?
It's a great it's a great thing that she's doing. I told her, when I graduated, I would do anything she needs me to do to help somebody else get this opportunity. There are people out there that are not as fortunate as I was to have a department that was willing to send them without the scholarship. There's people that's the only thing that's holding them back is they don't have the funds. So what Miss Debbie's doing is a great thing, and I'll be there at the pageant on the 23rd. So y'all come out and support her. Any donations you want to make, any of these fundraisers that she does. I mean, Miss Debbie put some really good stuff together. So anything anybody can do to help is greatly appreciated.
You bring up a good point, Casey, that if we have men and women who feel called or led to serve our communities by wearing a badge or even in military, it shouldn't be funds that keep them from being able to take that next step to further their career or see a dream come through, because those are the people that we want out there, the ones that want to be there. So one way we can help make sure that happens is by helping to support things like Miss Debbie with her Miss M17 pageant. You mentioned it's April the 23rd. Miss Debbie wanted me to make sure there's a few more contestants, even though it's the deadline. If you're in the area and you would like to your child to be a part of it, you can contact Miss Debbie. You can just hit us up on the C Spire text line 601-879-4395. I'll make sure you get Miss Debbie's contact information for that. But Casey, thank you again for your time, but also for your service, girl, and kudos to you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate y'all.
All righty.